Okay, so all of you should have made the two bowls for your head. They've been drying since Tuesday under plastic. So now I would call them soft, leather, hard. And you want to really aggressively score your two attachment points. And you'll notice I have a piece of foam. That's going to be what I rest my head on as I'm building it. And scoring is really the most important part of the construction process. You want it to have almost like a Velcro effect. So then, after you attach it, what I want you to do is actually score across your joint. And work your way around. This will really help blending your seam in. So then after you've scored across your seam, come back through with your rib tool and really work over that seam, pulling clay to it. Okay, so now kind of paddle it into shape, and the human head, it doesn't sit like this. The chin points down, so that's why we have this spike. So you, after you build your head, you can actually rest it right here. So after you have your head assembled, what you're going to do, you're going to basically eyeball how it's going to rest on your bust. That's why having a profile picture as a reference, so you can see where your egg-shaped oval is going to fit on your head. Then cut it out based on where you need it to rest on that. So then you'll have a hole through into your head. And you can take a minute and blend in the interior of your attachment from earlier. And then fit it onto your spike. So that's why we built the spike the way we did. Does that make sense to everybody?
It looks quite large.
Yeah, it's a little overscale. But, like, that's a measurement I took of my actual head, and I did not measure the bust. So, pretty, I mean, relatively similar, I guess. So then, you can mark out where you need to score and attach it. Take it back off the spike and score from there. And now that I know roughly where it's going to fit, I'm going to cut my spike off. So that when I have my head attached, I can cut off a skull cap and have room to work without the spike getting in the way. And that will allow you to really refine your features. So now that we have the head attached, we're going to start refining the shape of the head, the form changes and things like that. I'm using myself as a profile reference when I had a beard, and then I've got the portrait of Alan Neese there. So I'll be sort of combining those two since I was not able to get my hands on a profile view of Mr. Neese. So what we'll do, start basically massaging the clay. You can see it's still soft. I'd call it soft leather hard. Have my jawline start here, and that will blend back to the base of the head. And right now we're not worrying about features too much. We're just defining kind of the bigger formal changes. And oftentimes when you do this, you may find you need to give your head a squeeze from the side, because human heads aren't perfectly round. And compared to when we first put it on, this will help start to make it look much more naturalistic. Okay, so now I'm going to actually take my skull cap off. It's almost like carving a jack-o'-lantern. And this is going to allow me to modify my sculpture from the interior. And this is why we cut that neck spike off when we got ready to attach it, so that you actually have room inside your sculpture to work. Otherwise your neck spike would basically come through the hole right where my hand is. So now you can start to rough in your larger features. You'll notice I'm actually modifying the form of the piece. I'm not just drawing cartoon eyes. So I'm not relying on symbolism. I'm actually sculpting the piece. If I were to just draw eyes, that would be similar to drawing a smiley face. And again, this is why it's so important to cut open your skull cap so you can have access to the actual interior to push and pull and cause those form changes. And from the profile, you can see that the eyes are basically on my halfway mark. If I were to look at that original egg shape, about halfway down the head. And it's very important that if you feel it start to get a little soft from getting overworked, just go ahead and pause and let your clay rest. For example, my chin is starting to drop towards the breast. So I'm actually gonna go get a prop.